So I'm a little annoyed, I must say, because in the last episode, um, I was talking to my guest, and all of a sudden, Windows decided I need to make updates right now. And it didn't ask me, would you like to make updates? Would you like to wait to a later time? Would you like to be reminded at a later time? Because if it had said that, I would have clicked yes because I was doing something important. And so, but instead, my computer just decides, I this is the even though I'm just a computer and I'm owned by a human, I don't care what the human. I'm not even gonna check with him about what should be happening right now. I'm just gonna shut off all the programs that he's using. I'm gonna shut off his OB Studio. I'm gonna shut off his Flash software. I'm gonna shut off everything. And he's gonna go, and I'm just gonna turn the computer off. And this live stream ended because my computer just decided that my opinion didn't even matter and just decided to shut me off, which was pretty annoying. And so anyway. That's why the stream ended the way it did. My guest, YouTuber Thomas 25, is not with me anymore because he fell into a bathtub full of poisonous snakes, and he's not my guest anymore. Alright, so I'm just going to continue where I left off before.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Okay.
All right. I think it looks like I didn't even get to save all my changes. I thought I did this already. I could have sworn I did some of this drawing.
Prize games.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I got more progress on this, but my stupid computer didn't even allow me to save it. Like, it just started shutting everything down. I was like, wait, what's going on? I'm in the middle of doing something. God damn, that was annoying. Stupid Windows. This is a computer. It's a tool. It doesn't get to make big decisions like that. Anyway, I guess I had kind of a fun conversation with Thomas Stout, 25, even though he was getting a little repetitive toward the end. But anyway. I guess that's the trouble with having a guest on a drawing thing like this, is that I'm trying to concentrate on what I need to be doing. And I'm also trying to think of things that are funny to talk about. And it's, I don't know, it's just a little distracting. But I felt like some of it was good. Some of the conversation that we were having was alright. Oh, come on, Dan, what the hell? I'm drawing like way outside of the border. So let's see. I think last time I checked I was up to like 9 hours of animation time. I want to get 12 hours in. Hopefully I can finish this shot. And then I'll be done. I'll be able to move on to bigger and better things. Alright, so let's see.
Those prize games that people toss prize games that people toss prize games that people toss quarters in. And those prize games that people toss prize.
Maybe I should delete that sound effect for now. I was pretty certain I drew this frame already. Let me save it just to make sure that my computer just doesn't decide to shut everything I'm doing down again. I'm certain I drew this. What a hassle. Alright. Prize games. People toss quarters in. What a prize. I don't know why I made her have a southern accent in that one shot. I don't think I did that in any other. You know what? I feel like her body should move a little bit to the right. I didn't draw the apron. Boy, it's awful quiet now. Hope it's not too boring now that I don't have anybody to argue with. But that actually, I feel like all the stuff that we talked about was stuff that we always talk about. Like T-Stout says, oh, you couldn't beat me in basketball. And then I say, oh, I could beat you in basketball. And he's like, no, you couldn't. And I say, remember the time you said you could beat me in chess and then you didn't even know how to play chess? And then we go back and forth like that a couple times. And then he starts asking me, he starts realizing, okay, I can ask him questions about basketball that he's not going to know. And then I try to maneuver around my lack of basketball knowledge. It's kind of like something I don't really see that guy that often, or I don't really ever see him because he lives in a different state, but sometimes he comes online and I talk to him and the conversation is always the same pretty much. If I ever had him back on as a guest, I'd have to be like, alright, ground rules. We can't talk about basketball or chess because we already did that. And then I wouldn't know what to talk to him about because that's all we ever talk about. But I don't know. It's kind of nice to talk to him sometimes because he knows a lot about different computer programs. But most of it's just us breaking each other's balls. But I don't know, it was kind of interesting to have a guest on this stream. How does that look? I feel like I want this body to move over just a little bit, like about a line's length to the right, because I want the weight to look like it's shifting. What if I left this arm where it is, and then I just shifted all this stuff to the right, the length of one line. I think I know what I would talk to Thomas Stout about if he came on again. I guess we don't always talk about the same thing. There are like two conversations that we have that are exactly the same every time. But I don't want to spoil the other one because it's kind of like it needs to be. It would need to be like in scene. See how this looks. Wait a minute. Damn it, I'm losing track of my layers here. Okay. Oops. So hopefully this will adequately give the illusion that her weight is shifting. I don't really even need to draw this leg. How does that look? Looks a little bit more fluid, but alright, I'm going to color that in. Let's make sure I save it in case my computer wants to do any updates without my knowledge or permission. Alright. I don't know. What's wrong with this? It looks weird. I'm gonna color it in. Oops. Oops again. What's wrong with this frame? Oops, again, jeez. Whew, I'm burping like a mofo. Ugh. Army color skin. What am I doing? What is going on here? I'm just making mistake after mistake after mistake. Huh. What the hell? Right. Probably be better if I made this skin. Whoa, I didn't color in this pocket? What am I, Hanna-Barbera animator? I didn't color in the hair either. Alright, so next I need to start worrying about... Let's zoom out.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters.
It's one of those prize games.
It's one of those prize...
Okay.
It's one of those prize... What's that? It's one of those prize games. What's that? It's one of those prize...
I feel like her head turns,
What's that?
a little too late. I feel like she should be turning maybe 2 frames earlier.
It's one of those prize... It's one of those prize... It's one of those prize...
God damn it. Damn it, Dan. You need to pay attention, you jerk. Moving the wrong character's frames. Okay, let's try this again.
It's one of those prize games that... It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. It's one of those prize games that people toss...
I guess that'll work. So, what is this layer 26? Get out of here. Layer 26, there's nothing on you. You know what? I'm moving this Corey's mom layer, Corey's mom's head layer down to the bottom because I'm starting to get confused about starting to mix up my layers. So I believe the sound effect started 11 frames in. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's put the where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right here is where the sound effect starts. So let's see if I can find this again. Corey and Mom.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. Yo, Mom, what?
Okay. All the way to the bottom.
It's one of those It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. It's one of those prize... one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters. It's one of those.
What if I moved?
It's one of those prize games.
I feel like it's getting out of sync. Right about there.
It's one of those prize games that people toss. It's one of those prize games that people toss.
Alright, so let's see. Let's do an in-between frame for this one. Alright, so let's see. I feel like this has got to move over a little bit. This frame is before she starts talking. Oops. Damn it, Dan. Lock your freaking frames already. Alright, so let's see.
It's one of those prize games that people.
So this frame is where she talks for the first time. Maybe I'll make her mouth open just a little bit for this part. And then move it over. Move the chin down.
It's one of those prize games.
I think I'm gonna make this up a layer. Wait, not yet. I'll draw this frame and then I'll adjust them all. Whenever my characters are talking, I like to have their heads kind of move up just slightly. I feel like it emphasizes the fact that they're speaking. I feel like I'm starting to get a little tired. Like, I don't know what it is about my body that only wants to fall asleep at 5 a.m. until some other unreasonable hour. It's like my body, it seems like it wants to fight with me sometimes. Alright, so let's see.
It's one of those prize. It's It's one of those prize. It's one of those prize. It's
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. Like, why does the chin?
It's one of those prize. It's one. It's one of those prize. It's one.
Why? Okay.
It's one of those prize games that people. It's one of those prize. It's one of
Alright, so let's see.
It's one of those prize games that people. It's one of those. No, one of those. No. It's one of those prize games that. It's one of those prize games. It's one of those. It's one of those prize games. It's one of those prize games. It's one of those.
Don't.
It's one of those prize games that people. It's one of those.
Kind of want to redo
Those
that frame.
prize games. It's one of those. One of those.
Oops. What the hell? Alright, computer, can you cooperate a little bit? Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. I think I'm gonna...
One of those prize games that people toss. One of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab prize. Those It's one of those prize games that people...
Save my thing. Oh, jeez. Forgot to color in those teeth.
It's one of those prize games. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try...
Just gonna move this one line's length up for each of these. I feel like I want to move this one over a little bit too.
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters... It's one of those prize games that people toss... It's one of those prize games that...
I,
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. Those prize games that people toss prize.
why is that there?
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters. It's one of those prize games that people toss.
Oops. Jaundice eyes. Or whatever it is. That makes your eyes yellow. Cirrhosis of the liver.
It's one of those prize games that people toss. Those prize. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. And one of those prize games that people toss those prize.
Come on, cut the shit.
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and prize.
Prize.
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters. Prize games that people toss. One of those prize games that people toss quarters. Prize.
I hate this.
One of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters. Prize. Those prize games that people toss quarters in and try. those prize games that people toss quarters in. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. And one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. And prize game, prize game, prize.
Huh. Come on, didn't I select red? What the F?
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in. Prize game, It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters. Games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters.
Well, gosh darn it, I'm starting to fall asleep. But I can't fall asleep. I can't give up now. It's only 4:38. How does that look?
It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to those prize games that people toss prize games that people toss quarters in.
Hey, it's Todd. I gotta sneeze. I'm gonna mute my mic.
one of those prize games that people toss quarters. Game, game, game. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters. One of those prize games that people toss quarters in. And game. Prize games that people toss quarters. Game. 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 Those prize games that people toss quarters in. And prize games. Games. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. Games that people toss quarters in. games that people toss quarters in and try to games that games that games prize games that people toss quarters in games that people games games that people 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 toss toss quarters and try try to grab 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 try to grab a prize. prize. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. People toss quarters. People toss. People toss quarters in. Games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. It's one of those that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. People
Huh, I just realized that my microphone was muted. How long has it been muted? I was talking to Todd and everything. How long have I been recording for this episode? I've been recording this episode for 1 hour and 20 minutes. When did I mute my microphone? Boy, what an annoying turn of events. Todd, are you there? Is that you, Todd? Damn it. Can't believe I did that. I'll have to watch the video again and see how long it was muted for. Can't believe I did that. I'm so dumb. Alright, so I'm going to convert this to a symbol, and I'm going to name this Corey's mom behind head short 2. Short 2.
Games that people toss quarters. Games that people toss quarters.
So, maybe I'll do one more of these.
Games that people toss quarters in.
Because if there aren't 3, it'll just look like it's jiggling back and forth, and I don't want that to happen. So. So let's see. Alright, so I should be almost done with this one. I got a lot of work done today. How many hours have I been working? About 10 hours so far. 10 hours straight. Actually, I took a 20-minute break, like after, I don't know, hour 6 or something. And then, of course, we had the riveting Thomas Stout footage, or interview, argument, debate, whatever that was. Alright, so I'm converting this to a symbol. I feel like I should just give a rundown of everything I just did, because I don't know how long my microphone was muted. Maybe I shouldn't mute it anymore, because I'm so dumb that I'm going to forget to turn it back on. Alright, so basically we animated
Those prize games that people
this
toss
character
quarters.
talking and turning at the same time, turning her head.
Those prize games that people toss quarters. Games that people toss quarters. Games that people toss quarters. Games that people toss.
And because her head is turned away from the camera, I don't need to do so much detail. I just kind of have to make it wiggle a little bit. So so up here, what I did already is I have the points plotted out where her mouth would be open the widest, and also the closed shut. So
Games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize.
So her mouth
Games that
should
people
be
toss quarters in
somewhat
and try to grab a prize.
moving in the appropriate
People
amount of space. And so now these are all the times when her mouth is moving just a little bit. But those just need to wiggle a little bit and look like they're moving, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'll put this here. That one there. That one. That one.
Toss.
And then let's duplicate each of these once. And then 1, 2. And then I think I can delete these frames because I don't need them anymore. They're done. What's going on up here? So I didn't really end up using these frames. I drew these for nothing. Alright, so I don't want to delete anything else because I think everything on the screen is going to be used. Let's close this up a little bit.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize.
Why did he disappear?
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. Grab a prize. What's that?
Make sure I save this. Okay. So, the way I arrange this, all these 3 characters are on the same little animation. So, but this delivery guy is in a different animation. So I'm going to delete him. I don't need this sound effect anymore. So this should all be the vital information. Let's see how that flows together in the larger scheme of things.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize.
Okay, so let's see. Where's that sound effect? I'm gonna edit this sound effect. Just check my headphones to make sure I don't have my headphones on backwards.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business.
So let's see. This one, yo, Mom. So I'll make a cut here in the sound effect. So basically I'm trying to edit this sound so that it's in stereo. So I already lowered the voice on the left channel so that it sounds like the sound is coming from this stage right. And so now I'm gonna make another cut, and then lower it even more.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business.
Oh, wait. Damn it. Where'd that go?
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract business. Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to grab a prize. I figured it would help attract...
Okay, so that's now a little bit more in stereo than... Alright, so let's see.
Yo, Mom, what's that? It's one of those prize games that people toss quarters in and try to...
So now all I have to do is finish this guy putting the...
grab a prize. Try to grab a prize.
So that only really lasts for 2 frames. Wow, I'm so happy I'm almost done with this shot. This has been taking me forever. So, this only lasts for 2 frames, so I know that the next camera angle starts here. So I just finished these few frames and then I'm done with this shot and I can do something a little bit more fun. Okay, if half an hour before I have to restart the stream. So let's see. What time? What am I at? I'm at like 11 hours and change now. My original goal was to animate for 12 hours straight. Actually, my original goal was to animate for 11 hours straight, but then I decided, why not make it even, since these live streams are I've been making them 2 hours long. But maybe I'll try to go 14 hours. I want to get work done. And since I can't ever sleep at night, why not go for 14? My butt kind of hurts from sitting. I feel like I want to stand up for a bit. So let's see. Stop it. What the hell? So what is this guy doing? I'll just do the keyframes and then I can delete. I can delete these weird whatchamacallits. Wait a minute. Those are the exact same dimensions. Why does it look like that? What was I thinking? Was I just... Why did I do it like that? To make it like it was easing down a heavy vending machine thing? Well, I mean, as long as we know it's the same exact dimensions, might as well just trace it instead of figuring out all the weird perspective lines again. Come on, Dan, why are your hands so unsteady? Oops. Okay, so I can delete this guide frame for now. Oh no, I can't. I'll just, I gotta do that part really quick. Alright, now I think I can delete it. And let's do the same thing for this frame. I think I'm gonna animate the box of the game machine first, and then I'll animate the guy later. Alright, so this one, I'm just gonna trace these lines. Oh man, I can't wait to finish this scene. I hate. Alright. Jeez, Dan, where'd you get these hands? The liquor store? That didn't even make any sense. I feel like a long time ago, there was a comedian who said he was filming like a comedy special. I think it was Bill Bellamy. And in one of the cutscenes, he was filming something, and the cameraman was kind of like, you know, like rocking back and forth, like, I don't know what he was doing, but he was moving around a lot, like tilting the camera from side to side. And Bill Bellamy was like, "Where'd you get this cameraman? The liquor store?" And ever since I heard that, like, I feel like I've gone to that saying a lot, like, for some reason. Whenever something's crooked, I'm like, "Where'd you get that? The liquor store?" But that comes from Bill Bellamy, if ever you hear me say that. I'm pretty sure it came from Bill Bellamy. So let's see. Just one of the things I always seem to say. So let's see, that frame. I'll make this about there. Make that part right about there. I think that's good. That's kind of in line. Wait a minute. Just want to check something really quick. One, two. Switch. Okay. Alright, just checking. Let's make sure I lined everything up correctly. And right away I can tell I did not line this up correctly. Because I made the window at the top of the machine. How does that look? So this is actually, this should be easy to trace. Let's do, actually, I can just hold shift and it makes the straight line for me. I can delete this whole layer now. So there's a board here. Alright, so I think that's should I make a little more detail here? Just so it doesn't look too flat. Let's do this in between frame. My butt hurts from sitting here. What time is it? So I have about 9 minutes before the end of this episode comes along. So maybe I'll just finish this up. And then I will walk around a bit and get the old blood circulating back in my legs. Alright, so let's do that. Oh, this is a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be, which is always a nice surprise. Oh, it looked a little bit crooked. Let's see, I did that. I need to do this. Maybe I should color these correctly so that I can see them a little bit better. I guess they were mostly the right color for the most part. It's just, there are a lot of lines in this drawing. It's kind of easy to lose track of what I'm looking at. Huh. I'm so excited. I'm almost done with this whole shot. So let's see, that dot goes there. Why's my ink blue all of a sudden? So these two lines are about in the approximate same area. This is probably very boring footage. So, that line is down there. What a mess. So let's see. So I believe that would mean that this Come on, Dan. Don't make me start using Bill Bellamy lines at you. I'm just starting to see how crooked this line actually is. This line definitely came from the liquor store. Oops. I wonder whatever happened to Bill Bellamy. I haven't really thought about him, even though I've been using his line for like forever in conversation or just when I'm muttering to myself. I haven't really thought too much about Bill Bellamy himself. I remember he was on the MTV. He was on MTV for something. he's been up to. Ooh, I think did I just finish this? No, I still need to draw this line, this box here. Yikes. I need to draw that too. Wow. That's an uncomfortable mistake. Oh, pardon me. What am I at? 2 hours and 4 minutes. Alright, I'm gonna restart the stream. And then I think I'm gonna try and finish up this shot tonight. If it takes me 2 hours, if it takes me 4 hours. Alright, so I'll be right back.